And welcome to this month's Webinar Wednesday, which is going to be based on the sport of polocrosse. We're really glad that you can all join us this evening, and we've got a really great presentation lined up for you with lots of information on how you can get involved and keep going through the winter. Before we get started with the presentation, just a few little housekeeping bits and pieces that I'm going to explain to you, just so you know how it all works on this system. Everything that you will put into the chat boxes, which you see on the right, we will see, but it all comes through to us moderated, so we can then filter through it and what needs to be answered and what needs to be put into the public chat for everybody to see. So as I say, we will see all of that information. But if you do have a question specifically, please can I ask that when you type your question out, you put a question mark at the end of that, as it filters in somewhere else for us so we can pick it up a lot easier and make sure your question is answered correctly. With regards to the way the system works, obviously you can see there's a presentation on the screen, but we do have some videos which we will be playing through the presentation as well. So please do be aware if any lagging or any technical hitches come up, just bear with us for a minute. If anything is then not working on your side, this session is also going to be recorded, and you'll be able to watch it through the Pony Club website by clicking through to Webinar Volunteer Training, Webinar Wednesdays, and it'll take you to the list of all of the training that we have done over the past couple of years for Webinar Wednesday. So without further ado, I'll pass you on to Ian Heaton to start today's presentation. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Zoe, and hopefully you can all hear me and see me now. Welcome to the Pony Club Polocrosse Webinar Wednesday, where we're going to talk all about polocrosse and how you can get involved with it. So we're going to have a great hour, hopefully. We're going to go through a little bit of the basics of the sport. I'm going to run you through a little bit of that. As Zoe said, we've got a couple of little videos to show you as well, which will hopefully help bring the game to life a little bit and help you see how it actually happens on the pitch. And then Laura Scott is going to talk a little bit about how you can get involved with the sport, the equipment you need, the training that goes on around the country, and the main events that we run within Pony Club Polocrosse as well. And then we have got a couple of other little videos as well. And then we've also got two of our former members and 2 of our current members to come and answer just a few questions each about their time in Pony Club Polocrosse, about why they love the sport, about what opportunities it's given them, and why they would obviously recommend it to other members and branches and centres around the country. So hopefully that sounds good, and hopefully you're going to get a lot from it. Without further ado, I will move us through onto the first actual slide for the evening. Sorry, I should have said, for anyone who doesn't know me, I'm Ian Heaton, I'm the Pony Club Polocrosse Chair. I have the pleasure of leading the Pony Club Polocrosse Committee, and obviously that committee is focused on trying to give Pony Club members around the UK the opportunity to play the sport of polocrosse. So what is polocrosse? Well, polocrosse is a very fun team sport, which helps members work on their riding, their teamwork and their confidence. So it does involve a racket and a ball as well as a horse. And basically in a normal match, you've got 2 sections of 3 players. And they play on a large pitch, which we've got an image of in a second, so you'll be able to see exactly how large it is and the dimensions of it. And they score goals at each end of the pitch. The match is broken down into what's called chukkers, and the way it is structured is that a team will not play one chukker after another, so there'll always be a break in between them, which might be another match taking place, or it may be an actual just a break in play to allow horses and players that chance to rest and recover. So that means players only need one horse to play a full match, and it keeps the game affordable even at a higher level, or so we like to feel. And training for the sport focuses on 3 main areas. Like I said, it has got racket and ball skills, but obviously ride and horse training skills are absolutely key as well. And then obviously also the tactical knowledge of the game and the sport as well. So that's a brief overview brief overview of the sport itself. Obviously, like I said, we'll have videos to bring it to life a little bit more, which will make all of this a little bit easier. But before we look at any of those, let's just have a quick look at the Polocrosse pitch. So this is a full-size pitch. I would hasten to add, you do not need a pitch in your field or your back garden to start playing the sport. You know, most people start playing and training, and taster days that we run within the Pony Club will be in arenas or much smaller fields and so on, just to get people going. But this is what a full-size pitch looks like. You've basically got 3 main areas to it. You've got a big midfield area and 2 goal scoring areas where you have to be to score a goal. And then at that D, which you can see around the goalposts, the goalposts are about 2.5 meters wide. There's a 10-meter D around them. You are allowed to ride in and out of that D, but you're not allowed to shoot within it. So basically, to score a goal, you've got to be beyond that penalty line, or what's often called the 30-yard line, because 27.5 meters is about 30 yards from the end of the pitch. So the 30-yard line or penalty line, and you've got to be in the goal scoring area, but you're not allowed to be in the D, and that's when you can shoot at the goal. We will talk a little bit more about the positions of players. Like I said, there's 3 players on the pitch. The players are numbered 1, 2, and 3, very logically. Number 1 is your goal scorer. It shouldn't be goal scorer, it should be goal scorer. Goal scorer or attacker. 2 is your midfielder, and 3 is the defender. Everyone is allowed in that big midfield area that I've just talked about. All 6 players who, 3 from each team, can ride around in there and compete for the ball. But once you get into the goal scoring areas, only your goal scorer and your defender from the opposite teams are allowed in there. So in those areas, it becomes very much a 1 versus 1 contest. Obviously, as we said already, the aim is to get the ball and go and score goals, and you have to get it to your number 1 in the goal scoring area to do that. The other team will obviously try and stop you doing this. They'll try and tackle you. They'll mark you up. It is a contact sport, so there is the ability to ride off, very similar to polo in that way, that you can ride off and shoulder to shoulder in a safe, controlled way, ride off other players. So that is how the positions of the players work. And just to bring that to life, over a really key part of the game is the lineup. So the games start with a lineup, and the teams also line up again after each goal. They line up in number order, so you'll see them lined up one behind the other, 1, 2, 3 in their pairs. So each team on each side of the line out, as you will see here. The umpire stands in front of them to throw in the ball, and those tees, I think you'll have possibly seen. I'm sorry, I didn't actually highlight it on the pitch diagram when we were there, but the tees, as you can see, are right in the middle of the pitch here in that centre area. So that's where the lineups happen. It's right in that centre area in the middle of the pitch, equidistant from each goal, and therefore nice and fair for both teams involved. The lineup, they happen, as I said, after every goal, and they switch between the 2 different sides of the pitch. So there's a tee on both sides of this pitch, but they continue to shoot at the same goal for the whole chukker. So anyone who's familiar with polo, they actually switch goals after every goal, which I must admit I would find highly confusing, I think. But we carry on shooting at the same goal for the whole chukker. Then for the next chukker, we do switch, so we're shooting the opposite way down the pitch. All the players should be facing forwards when the ball is thrown in, and the players can stand knee to knee, and you will see that, at the higher levels and the more experienced levels, but often in more novice grades, as you can see in this picture here of a group training, there'll be more of a gap as players get used to it and their ponies get used to it and so on. So that's a very whistle-stop tour of a few key elements of the game, so the positions, and so on. What we thought might help bring it to life a little bit is a little short video that talks a little bit more about those elements and lets you see some of the play. So if we can play the first video, or I think maybe I can just click play.
Polocrosse matches start with a lineup, with players also lining up after each goal is scored. All 6 players line up facing the umpire, who throws in the ball between them. The players try and catch it, and if no one does catch it, they will turn and chase it to try and pick it up. Any player can catch or pick up the ball, as we see in these clips. The number 1 and then the number 3 catches the ball in the lineups. When the ball goes out the back of the lineup, you can see how the quick turns and acceleration of the horses really helps their riders. Once the team has the ball, the aim is to get it to their number 1 in the goal-scoring area, who can then score the goal. In these 2 clips, you see 2 other players bring the ball down to the goal-scoring area and pass the ball to their number 1, who is already inside the area and can go on to score the goal. When the number 1 gets the ball in midfield, they can take it into the goal-scoring area themselves, but they cannot carry it over the 30-yard line. Instead, they have to bounce the ball on the ground and then can catch it or pick it up on the other side of the line. When the number 3 gets the ball in the goal-scoring area, they must also bounce it over the 30-yard line, if they choose to carry it out into midfield rather than passing it, as you can see in this clip.
There we go. So that is a little short video just to bring to life a little bit that idea of the lineups and the game, you know, bouncing out of the area, give you a little bit more idea of the pitch and so on. So hopefully that was a little bit of a brought to life a little bit of what I was talking about. So what do we look for in a polocrosse horse? So as I said, horse riding and the horses are really important for sport. It is very much a horse sport. You can be really good with a racket and ball, but actually, if you don't get to the ball first, and your horse and your riding isn't good enough to get you there first, actually, it's not much use being very skilled with a racket and ball. The top horses in the sport are very highly trained. A lot of time goes into their development, and actually, you know, there's always this view that, you know, different sports might be quite different in terms of their training and so on, but actually, you're still looking for the same core fundamentals in a horse. So you want them to be well balanced, you want them to have a good rhythm, you want them to be responsive, and so on and so forth. So, you know, actually a horse that is well trained to a high level in any sport will be very similar to what we're looking for in polocrosse. And just to say, you know, we do like to see horses wearing as little tack as possible. So, you know, actually it is a very good sign that actually the horse is well trained. It doesn't need lots of tack like nosebands and martingales and so on around it. So a nice little expression there. Most highly trained horses wear the least tack. We also have an acronym to lay out what we look for in a polocrosse horse. So the acronym CLASS. So we want horses to be calm, we want them to be light, we want them to be agile, we want them to be supple, and we want them to be strong. And what do we mean by those words? Well, we define it out a little bit more here. So, you know, it is a high pressure sport. You know, there are high energy situations, and you need a horse that will remain calm in those situations. You know, you need a horse that is, like I said, responsive and light to your hand and your aids, you know, quick off your leg, quick to stop. You basically want a horse that will go when you want it to go and stop when you want it to stop with minimal resistance. You want it to be agile. You know, you'll see, as we've got another little video in a minute, you'll see some of the turns and the moves that the horses do. They do need to be agile. They do need to be nimble on their feet. And that comes, though, from that sort of fundamental training and building things up gradually over time. None of this is different to what you might do with a horse when you highly train it for dressage or another sport like that. They do also, to be able to do those sort of turns, you want them to be supple. You want them to stretch and flex and do all the things they need to do. You know, move their body in the right way and make sure actually they're going to have a long and healthy career by being both supple and being strong, both in terms of, you know, well muscled and so on, but also aerobically fit and having the stamina and endurance. They've got to play, you know, 3 chuckers in every match, you know, and it is, you know, a reasonable size field, and particularly at the higher levels, it's a lot of effort. So these horses are aerobically fit and work hard. So that's what we look for in a polocrosse horse, and it's really important to sort of stress that actually, you know, it is really important, and we do pay a lot of attention to the horses as much as to the racket skills and the players. Our second little video is just about horse attributes, and I think we've just got the first video back, but I think the second one should appear in a second, hopefully, because I think that's just going to play me the first one again at the moment. hopefully we will get the second video appearing in a second, to be able to show you a little bit about, here we go, a little bit about the horses. Just
goals and give her as little to shoot at as possible. Look at the spins and turns out of these two horses. These are both, well, one's a current A grade horse in Cerveza. The other one has played right up to international level. In comes Daisy Stone through the post it goes. Goal to Wales. Austin Hayes pops it up to himself. Pulls it in. Austin Hayes holding onto the ball well. Under some pressure from Isla Oliver Byrne, but twists and turns, finds a way through to the post, pops it through. Goal.
Danny Woodward takes a tap on the racket but gets out over the 30-yard line. The ball Candyman upfield he goes. Now the Welsh defence comes at him. Keegan Jacobs and Will Holland both swinging like their lives depend on it. Danny Woodward though checks and turns, cuts one way or another. Downfield he goes, pops a little pass through Emma Jocelyn. Ella Jocelyn takes it despite the close attention to Jack Brown. England down into the 30-yard line again. Jack Brown trying to keep the pressure up. Now he's got the push on. No, he hasn't. Emma Jocelyn's jump zebra out the corner. So Tegan Bristow will take it to herself. Tegan Bristow, upfield she goes. She's going to have to offload it at that 30-yard line, just pops it into the area. The last possible minute. Eve Thomason spins and turns on horizon, but Izzy Bates Creswell on Glitz is just doing a good job keeping her clean. But Eve Thomason twists and turns, but too close to the goal to shoot it while she's in that D. Now she drives across the big overarm.
so there you go, ladies and gentlemen. So that just brings to life a little bit some of those turns and those moves that we're looking for from those horses as well. And I'm sorry, I should have said a couple of things just on those videos. That's all footage from our 2023 and 2021 Four Nations competitions. 2023 was quite a wet year, so that's why the pitch looks a little bit muddy at points. So if you were looking at those videos, God, they've really trashed this pitch. It normally doesn't look that bad. 2023 Four Nations was quite a wet year up in Cheshire. So yeah, that is why the pitch looks a little bit muddy. So yeah. And also I was going to say, we will talk a little bit about the different grades and ages in there as well, because you might have thought, God, there's some very small ponies here and some very big ponies, and we'll explain a little bit more about that as well. But we thought it was good to show you a mix of them. So, on that note, I can hopefully pass you over to Laura Scott to talk a little bit more about getting started in the sport and a little bit more about the equipment you need and all the other things that go with that. So, Laura, good evening, and over to you.
Hi, and hi, everyone. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Laura Scott. I'm a member of the Pony Club Committee, or Pony Club Polocrosse Committee, and joined Ian this evening just to share a little bit more about what we are up to in the Polocrosse world. So many of you might be sat there wondering how you get started, how do you find a coach? So we are really fortunate. We've got a really strong network of area coordinators. So each Pony Club area has someone attached to them to help facilitate Polocrosse. They will help point you in the right direction of coaches. Some of them will be coaches themselves, but they are spread out all across the UK, and they're there to support branches and centres getting organised with training. They can help structure sessions, so they will help you put taster sessions together where you might start off on foot, covering the basics of the game, using the rackets and the balls, and then you'll be introducing your ponies to the equipment, and then putting that together with the skills. And hopefully a little game often happens at the end of those taster sessions as well. We do make sure we spend plenty of time helping ponies get really settled and get familiar with the racket. So our coaches are really experienced in how they will do that in a really safe and considered way. We do find that most Pony Club ponies very happily settle into a game situation. And even those that do start off maybe when they are slightly nervous, just might need a little bit of extra time to relax. But our coaches, like I said, are really experienced and will help do that. Ian's already talked about the different types of ponies that we have in the sport. So he shared some examples where you can have your usual pony club polo. I can't even get my words out. Usual pony club pony that you might do a bit dressage or show jumping on, and then help them play a little bit of polocrosse. So you don't need to have a top level pony to get started. And the focus of the game is very much on learning and having fun. In terms of the equipment that you need, obviously a racket and ball is fairly essential, but you'll be able to access these through your coaches and your area coordinators, at least for your initial sessions, and there's opportunities then to buy rackets later on. We do want to make sure our ponies are safe and well protected when they are playing polocrosse, so we work on making sure that they've got overreach boots on all 4 hooves, and then boots and bandages as well to give them that additional protection when they are starting to move closer together in a game situation. Normal tack, we do have breastplates are used as well, but from a rider perspective, normal hat, boots are required. And you will find the more experienced you get, there are additional equipment that you could use, such as cotton reins or stock saddles. But the important thing is you can start with all of your normal pony club tack for your first sessions. Ian's talked previously around the pitch that we use to play on. So grass is ideal, but it doesn't need to be a big, huge area. You can do a huge amount of practice in an arena, which does mean that you get the opportunity to play all year round. Obviously, the bigger space that you have, especially with the larger ponies, does make more sense, but there are lots of variations on the game that you can do. So in a smaller arena, you may play some smaller game situations. So you may have 2 players versus 2 rather than 3 versus 3. And that just allows you to adapt the game ever so slightly. But what we have done, and we've created in our polocrosse area on the resource hub, is some materials that help you with polocrosse rules when you are playing in the arena, some racket skills, some drills that you might choose to do. So that material is all there to support you as you get to grips with the game. The other thing that you can do is play polocrosse on foot, and as we start heading into winter months, you'll start seeing lots of on-foot sessions starting to spring up. The image there is in a really lovely and large sports hall. You can still, wrap up warm, get out in arenas, playing fields wherever you can, and continue on with that training. It's all about kind of keeping your eye in, using your rackets, using your balls, but it also means that you can master a lot of the basic skills without worrying about what your pony might be doing as well. So like we said, sports halls, riding arenas are all brilliant for introducing and keeping polocrosse going over the quieter winter months. Ian's just talked very briefly about our 4 Nations competition, which happens every couple of years. We have got a number of competitions already lined up for 2026, and 4 Nations will form part of that. But at the start of the year, we will host our Pony Club Arena tournament. In 2026, this will be on the 18th and 19th of April and held in the Super Arena at Dallas Burston in the Midlands. It is, I think, pretty much a full polocrosse size pitch. So it is a brilliant opportunity for those that have been playing a little bit of polocrosse over the winter, maybe new to the sport, having that really first great competitive experience in a really lovely arena, really kind of safe, very welcoming, very supportive, and great viewing from the sidelines for the parents as well. We'll then follow that up with 4 Nations. This will be the competition where we select players across different age groups, and we'll kind of come to age groups in a little bit, but that will take place at the end of July, and those individuals that are selected to play for each of those nations will spend time in the week beforehand working together as a team with their coaches and with their managers, making sure they're in the best position to compete in that competition at the end of that week. Followed quickly up will be Pony Club Championships in the middle of August off Churchbury. And so this will be where we kind of start putting our area and our branch teams together. Our area coordinators are currently right now finalising the dates for the area qualifiers, and these qualifiers are really a really important step for people to aim in to play at championships. And our team of coordinators are also busy setting training dates for the winter and spring leagues. You'll often find details are on the area Polocrosse Facebook pages, so worth keeping an eye on your local area page just to see what is coming up. Pony Club works alongside the UK Polocrosse Association, and them as an association also run a number of tournaments across the UK, and Pony Club members and their teams can play in these events by accessing the opportunity through a temporary membership, but it gives a little bit more competitive experience and competitive games if you wish to play in those additional tournaments. One thing we have established is not everyone will be really keen to play Polocrosse in a branch, and that means they can't always then put together a full team to play at a tournament. But what we are able to do is put together teams and create area or mixed teams in our competition. So area teams can be put together by their area coordinators, taking players from across that area, from branches and centres, to make that area team. We can then work with organisers to put together mixed teams as well. So even if you are a player within a branch and there isn't a lot of players right now, there is still the opportunity to play Polocrosse within an area and a mixed team. Polocrosse is absolutely a sport for all ages and abilities. There are a number of different age categories and grades that players can participate in. The minis are aimed at our 12 years and under players, and these are on ponies that are under 13 too. Our juniors are then 15 years and under, and ponies can be any height, with our senior division being any age and ponies over 13 too. And I think we'll probably talk a little bit about this in a minute as well. So this is also about making sure that our ponies are competing against ponies of similar sizes. So we're not putting large horses against small ponies. We want to make sure that we're offering a safe and competitive environment as well. Some of us might say the lead reins are the best Polocrosse to watch. I'm sure the others will tell me that the seniors are, but lead rein classes are available. We make them on a smaller pitch. It does make it a little bit easier for the parents to keep up with the smaller ponies, but the focus is just around having fun. And we've seen so many of our lead rein players move up into minis and into juniors. So time to get the trainers on for those parents who wish to give that a go as well. One of the lovely aspects of Polocrosse is it's a super friendly sport. You have the opportunity to camp and stay away with your ponies and your friends. It's very much a team sport, and we find that that people make lifelong friends as they continue their Polocrosse career. And I'm just going to try and see how much further I've got before Ian's going to jump in and tell me I've gone too far. I think I'm still going, aren't I, Ian? Yep, it's clicked on.
Yeah, it's still you, Laura. It's still you.
Still good. Okay, cool.
Get to the next video.
Okay, cool. Volunteers, like any pony club discipline, are super important. And even if you are not a player and you are a parent, there is always lots of opportunity for you to get involved. And these roles are really, really important. So every match, we need to have people who help keep an eye on the goals, making sure goals are scored, they're going through the goalposts, and we don't have ponies stood in the D. We need people who sit on the side of the pitch to help us keep score of the games. And we also need people to help keep us in time. So timekeepers keeping us to our 6-minute chuckers are also a really important role. So field marshals also form part of that volunteer network. They help us and oversee play on every pitch. And then, of course, we couldn't play Polocrosse without the umpires. We typically would have 2 umpires, and these would be mounted. So we need people who are very knowledgeable of the rules, usually some really experienced players, but equally it's really important for those in the junior and the mini divisions to make sure that they are kind of having some support, you know, they're understanding where things may be going wrong in their game as well. So umpires are really important there. And then finally, tack checkers and tack and turnout judges. We make sure we have got safe tack, clean, meets the rules and the requirements of the game, but we will make sure that we've got tack checkers at some of our larger events. So plenty of opportunity for volunteers to get involved. There's also plenty of opportunity if you are a coach or an instructor within your own branch or within your centre to get involved. So like the slide says, you don't have to be a top Polocrosse player to coach the sport. And so many of our pony club coaches have got significant amount of transferable skills and knowledge that they can translate into helping their players within their branches improve and learn more about the game. So coaches can really help our members with their riding, around horsemanship and the fundamental skills. So taking what they do in a flat work or a dressage rally can then translate really easily into what happens on the Polocrosse pitch. Of course, some practice with your rackets is really important. Lots of drills to help us do that. Again, they're in the resource hub and are available for people to take a look at. But coaches can supervise those training sessions, and we just really want to make sure that we've got a safe and supportive environment when people are practicing. And staying on the topic of coaches and volunteers, over the last couple of years, we have been running coach and volunteer education sessions. So these are aimed at existing pony club coaches or instructors and people who volunteer. And these sessions are led by one of our most experienced coaches. And the opportunity is there for them to learn more about the sport, see how they can get involved, how they can help their members have that opportunity, how they can take their transferable skills and get them involved in playing Polocrosse. So these days are a mixture of classroom sessions, a little bit of theory, some videos explaining what happens, and then we like to get out, use the racket and balls and work through the basics so that they have those skills ready to support their branches and their centres. We're in the process of figuring out exactly what those dates are going to look like in the areas that we're going to be in, we'll be hosting them in. So keep a lookout for those, because we'll be announcing those dates very shortly. And I think now, Ian, I am coming back to you.
Video on Arena or something like that. And yes, it is me.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, Laura, for talking us through that stuff. So what we thought we would do to show you a little bit more, and before we go to chatting to some of our current and former members about their experiences in the sport a little bit more, we thought we would show you some a little highlights reel from our last Arena challenge. I wouldn't pretend to say this is an example of how you might play Polocrosse in your arena at home, because as Laura has already indicated, the arena at Dallas Burston is pretty big. It is basically the size of a full-size Polocrosse pitch. So, but hopefully this will also bring to life for you a little bit more about some of the game and some of the skills involved in it, and help you understand a little bit more about it and see what some of the wonderful skills that our members and their horses have when they're playing the sport. So there you go, everyone. Hopefully that, again, just highlight a little bit more about the sport, let you see some of the action on the pitch at the Arena Challenge, and just a nice little video that we had put together. And as you can see, it was a lovely sunny event with no rain at all. So yeah, so one of those will be coming around in April this year. What we've got next is just a little bit of time with some of our Polocrosse stars from the Pony Club. So we are very good in the Pony Club Polocrosse at producing young players who go on to play for the UK. So if you look down the UK Polocrosse Association team lists for all their ages, so the under 14s, the under 16s, the under 19s, the open squads this year were very much dominated by current and former Pony Club members, which is wonderful to see, and it's wonderful to see the opportunities that these members get through the sport. But we didn't just want to say that to you. We were trying to get them to talk a little bit more about themselves. I think we're going to take them slightly out of order because we've got a slight issue with presenters on the video conferencing software at the moment. So I think what we'll do instead is we were going to talk to Hannah first, but I don't think we've actually managed to get her into the meeting quite yet. So instead, I think what we'll do is we've got Alfie in. So we'll get Alfie probably up here in a second and chat to him a little bit. And then I think we may have to do a bit of a switch to get Hannah and Taryn and Jack, if we've actually managed to get Jack into the actual event. So we'll start with Alfie. So Alfie, hopefully you're there and you can hear me. Excellent. We can see you, we can hear you. How are you? You well?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Good. So Alfie, you're a current member of the Langina branch down in Area 10 in South Wales. You've been playing Polocrosse for quite a few years now. I'm trying to remember when you first started. I remember seeing you on like a 13-2.
Yeah, I started in 2019, I think. So,
okay, yeah. So just before COVID.
Yeah.
Excellent. And this year you've actually had the opportunity to go to Australia to play with the UK under-16s, and you got to play against the USA under-19s team in the UK as well. So you were in both the UK under-16s and under-19 teams, which was a brilliant achievement. But can you say a little bit, what were those occasions like as an opportunity for you?
Yeah, they were really cool. I think Australia was probably one of the best experiences of my life. Like, you just get to see like new things and polocrosse in different places, like how big it is and everything. We went to a ranch for a few days at one point as well, and I learnt more there than like I had in like 5 years of playing polocrosse, to be honest, about horses. We got to like break horses and be cowboys and things like that. But yeah, just like gives you the opportunity to travel the world. And then we got to play against America, so you make new friends as well across the world and things like that.
Yeah. Which is brilliant, yeah, and wonderful. And obviously, like, you've been a Pony Club member for quite a few years as well. And how has that helped you sort of prepare for things like that, like going on tour and you know, the fact you've got to play perhaps different horses and look after them and so on?
Yeah, well, I only got into polocrosse through Pony Club actually as well. But then obviously Four Nations and champs and things like that, you get opportunities for like coaching and to play with new people. So that's like a really good way to improve and get better. Yeah.
Yeah, and you played in the Four Nations three times?
Three times.
For Wales, yeah, and I think you played at minis and junior levels, haven't you? And that's been great, has it? Being able to take part in those.
Yeah, really good. You get like a week of coaching before the tournament, and then you play on the weekend. So you just get to hang out with everybody as well, and then play the games. And they're really competitive as well.
Amazing, yeah. You're in the Langina branch. Langina don't normally have, or certainly I don't remember in recent years, for a number of years, you sort of having a branch team. I mean, you played in the Area 10 team last year at the Area Cup, which is another event that we started running this year. It was an Area Cup competition for sort of the best teams between areas, but you played in the Area 10 team then. But you've often, I think, played at things like the Arena tournament and championships in sort of mixed teams or area teams. I mean, I guess, how useful has that sort of flexibility of how Polocrosse works in the pony club been for you to be able to get those opportunities?
Yeah, that's been really good. I mean, if we couldn't play in mixed sections, I wouldn't have been able to do any of those tournaments. But also, you have to play with new people, and that's really key in being able to play internationally and things like that. But yeah, it's playing with new. Yeah, if we couldn't play mixed teams, I wouldn't have been able to play any of those tournaments. So that's useful.
Brilliant. And just before we let you escape, and we get probably Hannah up next, I think. Why would you recommend Polocrosse to pony club members? You know, like your other young members coming into the pony club now. What would you say to them about Polocrosse?
I think you make like friends for life. I mean, my best friend plays Polocrosse, and I've met him through Polocrosse. You also get to travel the world and see new things. It kind of takes over your life a bit sometimes, but it's definitely worth it. Yeah, I think it's the coolest sport. So
brilliant. Wonderful. Well, Alfie, we will let you go. Thank you ever so much for joining us. And if there's any particular questions, pop up on the chat for you. We'll grab you back. I'm hoping I've got Hannah or Taryn coming in now. If not, I'm going to have to ask myself questions. Or I'll ask Laura Scott questions, maybe. No, I think we've got Hannah. Hannah, can you hear me?
I can. Oh, yeah, I can hear
Hannah.
you. Hi.
So, Hannah, you are a former member of the Deanswood Equestrian Centre in Area 8 in Essex. You have, I believe, the honour of being the first ever Pony Club Centres member to be picked for a UK team when you played for the UK Ladies this summer. So we've had a lot of branch members go on to play in those teams, but I think you're the first one who's come through the sort of centre pathway to do so. So you played for the UK Ladies against a sort of international Barbarians team this summer in Essex, in your home county, which was lovely, I imagine, in front of your family and so on. But just talk a little bit about what that opportunity was like. Was it brilliant as it looked?
Yeah, it was incredible. Being able to play with and against some of the top players in the world was just amazing. Yeah, all the training was really good. It really benefited me and my horses. Yeah, I'm looking forward to Zimbabwe next year.
Yeah, because you've also been picked to go to Zimbabwe next year to play again in a full ladies team, which will be very exciting. Obviously, Zimbabwe are hosting the World Cup in 2027 as well. So you're going to get to see what that's going to be like a little bit. So yeah, talk to us a little bit about how you think that's going to be and how exciting that is, I guess.
Yeah, super exciting. I was very surprised to get the email that I'd got onto that team. Yeah, I've played for the UK in this country and in Ireland, so going out to Zimbabwe will just be totally different. So I'm really looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to seeing how different their horses are. I think that's going to be really interesting. Yeah, and to just see how it all goes. Hopefully we can bring back a win.
Brilliant. And how long have you been playing Polocrosse for now?
So it's been 7 years. I'm 20 now. I started playing when I was 13. Yeah. Same year as Alfie, 2019, just before COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And did you start that within sort of Deanswood as a Pony Club member? How did you actually start?
Yeah, so I was a Pony Club member at Deanswood, and we had Area 8 come and do a taster session. And I had a little whizzy show jumping pony at the time, and I thought, oh, she'd like this. Yeah, they came, did their session. I really enjoyed it. Literally bought a racket that day. Yeah, and have been playing since. Just went to local trainings and things like that.
Yeah. And was being a Pony Club centre quite helpful to you in terms of, you know, obviously learning to ride, care for horses and so on? Because obviously you've got your own horses at home now. I think actually no, maybe they're still kept at the centre, I'm not sure. But how important has being that sort of centre member and all the opportunities for learning through that been to you?
Massively important. I don't have horsey parents at all, so everything I've learned about how to care for my horses has been through Pony Club or through people that I've met because of Pony Club. I joined when I didn't own any horses, and then through that I managed to start loaning and then start owning, and once I learned how to actually look after a horse. And yeah, my horses are alive and well. So
Yeah.
something went
So,
right.
so Pony Club clearly trained you well then, because they're still alive.
Yes.
And you know, obviously, I know you're now also doing some coaching in Area 8,
Yeah.
including both at branches and centres and so on. But particularly to pick up on that centres piece, because we're really keen to do more with centres around the UK as well. What would you say about Polocrosse as a game for centres?
I think it's brilliant. It teaches, it's totally different for the kids and the horses. It teaches teamwork skills, communication skills. For the kids as well. It also, they start doing things like leg yielding and rein back without even realising. So there's loads of transferable skills to their riding. And I also think it's really nice for the horses to do something different.
Yeah, no, that's wonderful. And yeah, I think really good advert for Pony Club Polocrosse Centre, or Centres Polocrosse as much as branch Polocrosse as well. Brilliant. Thank you ever so much, Hannah. Like I said, if we've got any particular questions pop up on the chat for you, we will drag you back for that. But I will say goodbye to you for a second, and we'll get Taryn to come and chat to us.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Hannah. So, Taryn, can you hear me? Also in Area 8 somewhere in Essex. Oh. Hey, Taryn.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, and hopefully everyone else can as well. So, Taryn, you are a current member of the Essex and Suffolk branch in Area 8 as well. And you've just been picked for your first open level tour to go to America next year to play as part of a mixed men's and ladies team out there, 4 men, 4 ladies. So how exciting is that? Because you're probably the youngest one on the team, I think, maybe?
Second youngest, yeah.
Oh, you second youngest? Oh, okay. Oh, we should have got the youngest on. Oh.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. It's an amazing opportunity. I've never been on a full mixed team, so that'll be really interesting to see how that works compared to the other tours I've been on. Can't wait to see what the horses are out there again. And hopefully we can come back with a win.
Yeah. And you played against the USA under-19s, or in that under-19s team against the USA this summer in the UK, which I imagine was a pretty good experience as well. But obviously an outbound tour, another level. Yeah,
so with being at home, you get to ride your own horses, obviously changing between horses, but you're still familiar with them. So it's going to be different. It's going to be somewhere new, but it'll be fun. Yeah.
And I mean, you've had some really nice horses. I'd say you've had some really nice horses in the sport. I think you've worked very hard to produce and bring on some of your horses as well while you've had them as well. I mean, obviously, I remember when you first started playing and you were on Webster, who I did put one photo of you in the presentation. I don't know if you saw that you popped up on Webster in there, and I think there was footage of Webster also playing with Austin as well in the Four Nations as well. Who was a wonderful little pony. I think he's about 12'2", is he?
12'1", yeah.
12'1", is it?
Tiny.
But would regularly happily play against much bigger horses as well. Yeah. But how key was it having that great little pony to start you off in the game?
Oh, he was an amazing pony. He just from nothing. He never saw the game before, went straight into it, learned the whole game together. But he's such an all-rounder and an amazing Pony Club pony that meant that I could then go on to ride the awesome horses I have today.
Yeah. And has that been really key then, so being in Pony Club to help you develop your riding? Because like I said, you've got horses like Kiss and Viva, but you have worked on improving those. I've seen you working on various aspects of them. But has Pony Club really helped you with that riding and horse training piece?
Yeah, absolutely. I've always, since I was 5, done all sorts of rallies in Pony Club, done many years in mounted games, which has really helped with all the sorts of teamwork and that, and the horse aspects with the being able to ride with one hand, doing all the things at once has been crucial.
Yeah, brilliant. And you had a really good year in terms of Pony Club competitions this year. I mean, obviously you played for the UK and everything else, but actually you're still playing in the championships. You played in the arena tournament as well, and you won the Open Seniors. I think with a Essex and Suffolk team, we saw you on that footage with you and Ollie, and I think it was Olivia in the Essex and Suffolk purple shirts that you won at the arena tournament. And then you also won at the championships as part of an Area 8 seniors team there as well. So, that must feel pretty good after a number of years of working towards it.
Yeah, I've had a great year with some really good teammates with the full Essex and Suffolk team at Arena Challenge, riding one of my best horses, obviously Ziva, who was incredible the whole way through. And then to go and win champs with people I've been playing with pretty much the whole time. And on Squid, my young horse that hasn't done much, was so good.
Yeah, brilliant. Excellent. Well, look, Tarrant, thank you ever so much for taking time to chat to us about your experiences in the game. I guess just to wrap up, I mean, why would you recommend the sport to Pony Club members? What would you say about it? We heard from Hannah and Alfie. What would your thoughts be?
I think it's one of the most fun things you can do. Obviously, everything is great within the Pony Club, but it's such a good, fast-paced, intense sport with so many opportunities to travel across the world and around the country, playing with so many different people and making friends everywhere.
Brilliant. Wonderful. Well, look, Taryn, we'll let you escape as well. And I will just see, I don't think we have managed to get Jack. I think we have failed to get Jack Brown in, which is a bit of a shame, because I was going to ask him about what it was like to play in a World Cup. I was going to ask him about coaching the Welsh team at the Four Nations. So, Taryn, we'll have to get you back in a few years' time when you played at a World Cup, and then we'll ask you those questions.
I'll work on that then.
Yeah, exactly. Brilliant.
Thank you
so much, Taryn. Right, we will. I don't think we've got Jack, so we'll go to the main Q&A and just pick up any questions in there as well, and see whether there's anything particularly key to answer there. I think actually we've just got one question around the ball, haven't we, Zoe? Is that what we've got in there at the moment?
Yeah, at the minute we've just had this pop through from Alice.
So that's a relatively easy one to answer. So the ball weighs, Polocrosse balls, the official rule says it's supposed to be between 140 and 155. So 140 and 155 grams. It is made of a sort of sponge rubber material, so it bounces and it's soft. So when it hits you or your pony, it doesn't hurt. And it does have to bounce, as you can see on that pitch and so on. In terms of size, just to give you an idea of the visual thing, I was trying to think how would I describe it to someone who'd never seen one before? I would say it's about the size and weight of a grapefruit, probably. And you can imagine a grapefruit in ball form. That is probably about what it weighs and the size of it, I reckon. So yeah. And we just had another question pop up as well. We had Cheryl say about super video footage, which thank you so much, Cheryl. That's lovely to have your thoughts on it. So thank you. How long is a match? So this is a slightly tricky question, because a full team of Polocrosse actually involves, and I'll try to avoid covering this in the slides, but it actually involves 2 sections of 3 players each who play alternate chuckers. But a lot of the time we play in Pony Club, we'll play a sectional Polocrosse. So you're just playing as a 3. So 3 versus 3. So the game, the tournaments are divided up into hour-long slots for the matches, but you will only be on the pitch for about 18 minutes during that hour. So by the time you've played 6 minutes of a chucker, you get about 8 to 10 minutes rest between chuckers by the time the other match has gone on and off the pitch, or your other section has gone off the pitch if you're playing as a full team of 6. But yeah, so by the time you've done that, it takes about an hour to get through the entirety of a match cycle. But each chucker is normally 6 minutes, and you normally play 3 chuckers of 6 minutes. So the actual playing time is normally about 18 minutes. Brilliant. Oh, we've got another question. They're coming in really fast now. During wet money match, Hazel was able to wear studs. Yes, they are allowed to wear studs. There is a rule. It's very similar to the polo stud rule. So it's a 1 centimetre cube on the inside, I think, of their hind feet is what you're allowed. So you're not allowed big sort of eventing style studs where you've got 2 in each foot and so on. But you are allowed small 1 centimetre cubes in the hind feet, or I think you can put them. I don't know. Maybe it's just for hinds. I'm trying to remember if you can have them in front as well. But yeah, I think it probably is all 4 legs. But yeah, Joe, you're not allowed the really big eventing style ones. Wonderful. Any other questions coming in? If not, we're pretty much at time anyway. We'll just see if anything else pops up. Well, we can switch back to presentation because I do have one more slide, I think. If any other questions pop up, we'll see them. But before we just go then, and thank you all for joining and watching. I hope it's been useful, and I know that this has all been recorded as well. So if you're watching the recording back as well, hopefully you've enjoyed it. How to find out more and start playing. There is lots of information on the Pony Club website, and we've started to also put more information on the resource hub, including, I know Laura said earlier about the arena Polocrosse exercises and how you can play in an arena. So yeah, there is information up there on that. We do have a fairly active Pony Club Polocrosse Facebook page, so please do follow that if you're on Facebook. We put a lot of quite information through that. Your Pony Club Polocrosse area coordinators are a great source of knowledge. We don't unfortunately have one in every area, but we do have them, you know, in a fair number of areas around the country. Their details are on the website. There is also a Pony Club Polocrosse YouTube channel as well, which has got a lot of footage from the last 4 nations on it as well. So if you do want to watch some highlights videos and 4 games, they are on there as well on the YouTube channel. We are doing an online open meeting at the end of October, where the details of that will be on our Facebook page. That's open to everyone to come and talk about our plans for 2026. And you can always get in touch with us via polocrosse@pcuk.org or via Facebook. So there you go. If you want to find out more and start playing, lots of sources to do so. We're very happy. We'd love to have more branches and centres and members around the country playing. So please do get in touch if you need any help. And I think at 1 minute to 8, that wraps us up, Zoe.
Thank you so much, Ian, and all of our presenters for this evening. It's been really, really insightful and really helpful. And I'm looking forward to getting it all published up for next month for everybody to look back on. If anybody is joining us this evening and you do think of a question between now and in the near future, please do pop it over to the email address as Ian stated at polocrosse@pcuk.org, and someone will be able to get back to you with an answer. Otherwise, thanks again, everyone, for joining us this evening, and hopefully we'll see you soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.